Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Fantasy Art Friday. I just wanted to start off by saying a huge thank you to all of you for showing so much support for this new video series. I was initially quite worried about starting the Fantasy Art Friday videos because obviously they'd be overlapping the fan art videos as well, and I've had this regular schedule going for over a year now, so changing that up was obviously a little bit daunting. But the support on the first Fantasy Art Friday video with the Ice Dragon, the support on there was honestly amazing. It really meant a lot to me because obviously I'm going to be trying stuff that's a bit more challenging to me and it's going to push me more out of my comfort zone. Seeing the support for that idea, it really honestly meant a lot to me. So for this video I'm working on a drawing of a fire dragon, and this is after seeing all of the requests in the previous video suggesting elemental dragons, and I love that idea. So I wanted to keep it in the same style as the previous one, with the side portrait of the dragon's head overlaying a comic panel in the background. For the outlines of this drawing I used a Pigma Micron 05. This is 0.45mm and it really helps me when I want to have those dynamic thick and thin lines. I also wanted to keep the thicker lines to the right side of the sections of the dragon and have the thinner lines especially around the dragon's face. This is because I wanted the dragon's face to be a more highlighted section of the dragon, obviously highlighted by the lighter tones that I'm going to have in the background. Once those outlines were completed, it was then time to work on the colouring, and for the colouring I used Copic Markers. I started off by working on grey tones with the cool grey markers. My idea for this drawing was to have the dragon's scales and the skin all grey toned, thinking about it as kind of plates of armour, or maybe even like a volcanic rock, going along with the fire theme, because I was then going to surround those grey tones with the fire itself, and this dragon isn't just going to be able to breathe fire, it's going to actually have its head surrounded in fire as well. So my idea for this dragon is for it to almost be kind of a volcanic dragon with all these like volcanic plates around its face and around its neck, and you can see the fire kind of folding in between all of the cracks in the armour. So once I'd started to place those grey tones, starting with the lighter tones and working my way up to the darker shades, I was then placing some crimson marker in between those to kind of show that fire in between the cracks. And as I worked my way across the drawing, I realised the crimson tone was a bit too red, and I wanted to add some orange tones into that as well. So you'll see as I work my way across this drawing, I kind of change up that colour a little bit more, adding some chrome orange over the top of the red and making it look a bit more fiery. For the spikes on the back of the dragon's head, I used the cool grey markers for the front section, and then for the layer of skin between them, I used a mixture of cardinal, crimson, pure pink, and honey. And then later on, I used the chrome orange as well, just to make it blend easier with the fire. For the fire itself, the colours I used were buttercup yellow, honey, and chrome orange. And to add a little bit of a warmer tone in between all that, I used a pale heath marker. And I also used this pale heath marker to add a bit of a warmer tone to the front of the dragon's face. Once I was happy with how the dragon's head was looking, like the contrast between the shaded areas and the highlighted areas, the colour tones and the way they blended, once I was happy with all of that, I then used my Uni-Ball Signo Broad white ink pen to add some highlights, adding some highlights along the top edge of the dragon's face, adding some highlights to the dragon's teeth and to some of the horns, also adding some highlights to the fire around its head as well. And I think that added a really nice effect to the fire, and it really made it stand out. Moving on from that, I wanted to work on the dragon's neck, and I wanted to keep it in the same style as armour plating, using the cool grey markers to add the shading, even using a black Copic marker to add the darkest shading at the top of each section, and then blending downwards into cool grey 7, and then further down into the cool grey 5, making sure to leave a highlight at the edge of each armour plate. And then to fill in those highlighted sections, I used crimson and chrome orange. To add some details and some damage to those armour plates around the dragon's neck, I used a mixture of black and white Prismacolor pencil, just adding some darker shading underneath each plate and adding some highlighted scratches on that plating. And then I used my Uni-Ball highlighter pen again to add some highlighting along the left side of the neck. For the final part of this drawing, I wanted to add some layers of cloud in the background, so I started off at the top of the drawing blending downwards with some pale heath marker, blending downwards into some buttercup yellow and eggshell. For the next layer down, I used the buttercup yellow again and blended it upwards with the eggshell marker, and making a kind of a warm layer of yellow cloud. For the next layer down, I wanted it to have a bit more of a fiery tone, so I started off by using the honey marker and blending upwards again with the buttercup yellow and eggshell. With those layers placed down, I then used my highlighter pen to add some dots in the background to represent sparks and ashes flying in the air. To add a warmer tone to some of those, I added a little bit of honey and chrome orange over the top of them. After that, this drawing was completed, and I honestly had a huge amount of fun working on it. I can't wait to work on the next one. If you have any more suggestions for future Fantasy Art Friday videos, or if you have any suggestions for fan art videos, then please let me know in the comments below. I always read through them and they really help me out. If you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you're subscribed, and any likes or shares are hugely appreciated and it really means a lot to me. If you want to follow along with my progress photos and keep up to date with everything I'm working on, then be sure to check out the links in the description box below to check out my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And once again, thank you so much for the support on this channel. I can't wait to work on the next drawing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.